All right, this is lesson 1, the concept of a function. Everyone has unique fingerprints. In other words, there is a one-to-one relationship between a person and his or her fingerprints. In mathematics, this type of relationship is called a function. In this chapter, you will learn how to identify mathematical functions and also how to represent them using tables, equations, and graphs. So, for example, ladies and gentlemen, if we had some names, okay, say for example, Diane, Abby, Linda, Mark, and Eric. Okay. This would be our domain. Okay, our domain is called our input. It's what we put in. And it would consist of, and we have our bracket here, Diane, Abby, Linda, Mark, and Eric. Our output is what comes out once we put those people in. It's like a machine. Our range is our output. So this would be our domain. This would be our range. Okay. So our range would be, say, names like Kathy, Kyle, Kelsey, Lucy, and Gary. Okay, and we would write those like this. Okay. And when we have a function, okay, a function is a type of relation, okay, that assigns, okay, it assigns, okay, exactly one output to each input. Okay, so for example, Diane can go to Kyle. Okay, Abby, we can go to Lucy. Oh, Linda, we can put to Kathy. Mark, we can put to Kelsey. Eric, we can put to Gary. Okay. So each input, okay, and I'm going to put this, each input has one output. Okay. So now, and what I do want to mention here, okay, what I could do, okay, is this. I could say Eric could go to Gary, and Eric could also go to Lucy. Or sorry, let me change that. It could not. Let me switch that around. Okay. What could not happen? What could not happen What I meant to say is Mark could also go to Gary. I could have two people go to the same person, okay? Because they are one person to one person. One person to one person. One person to one person. What I cannot have is one person going to two separate people, okay? That would be 1 to 2, okay? It no longer would be 1 to 1, okay? So we need to have one input to one output. This is one input, one output. One input, one output. But if I had Eric going to Lucy and Gary, that is one input to two outputs, and that is no longer a function. Okay, so please remember that. So now, the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to use some examples in real life. Okay, so for example here, on a keyboard, okay, and which are functions. If I were to press on a keyboard, okay, the letters A, B, and Z, okay, and here are the keys pressed. Okay, the relation, let me redo that here. Okay, what would print out would be A, B, and Z. So that A would go to A, B would go to B, Z would go to Z. So therefore, yes, it is a function. If I were to go shopping, okay, if I were to go shopping and I were to buy some products, so for example, I bought a bowl, a glass, and a plate. And their cost were all $2. This would be a function. And the reason that it would be a function, okay, is because each X value and each input has a unique output. One input has one output, though they are the same. This input has one and only one output. This input has one and only one output. For football, if I were to have some players, so for example, Keith, Leo, and Martin, and I had positions for them. And I had tight end, and wide receiver. If Keith played tight end and Leo played tight end, but Martin played wide receiver, again, yes, this is a function because I have one input to one output, one input, one output, one input, one output, okay? Now this last one, and I saved this one for last, the Dewey Decimal System. If I have the number 400, the category of 400, and the category of 500. And in my output section, I have the English dictionary, and the German dictionary, and I have probability, and zoology. And the category of 400, I have going to the English dictionary and the German dictionary. And I have the category of 500 going to probability and zoology. This would be no, it is not a function because I have one input going to two output. I have one input category going to two output categories. So it's going from one value to two output values. So that is incorrect. It has to go from 1 to 1. Okay. So now, can you come up with a real world example of a function? Okay. Depending, okay, for an example, how about test scores? You could use this as a function and a not function, okay? Or no, actually you can use it as a function of 5 students. Because each input has only one output. Okay. For not a function, you could have a truck and a car. And you can have 14-inch rims and 16-inch rims. The truck can have either 14-inch rims or 16-inch rims. And the car can have just 14-inch rims. That is no function or not a function because you have one input to two output values. This, ladies and gentlemen, ends our lesson for today.